What do you got for me?
What's wrong with you people?
I got nothing for you.
What's wrong?
You're not David. How y'all feel this morning? I feel rotten. That's how I feel. Well, that was enough for me. We could have had the benediction right there. That was so good.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to The Reformatory, the podcast for the local church and by the local church. We are your local churchmen. Guess who's back? Back again. Guess who's back, Jack? It's been a minute, man, for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah.
All right. Like many different ones. Sickness, work schedules, but the best one. We got to do some breaking news reformatory here. We've got another private has been enlisted in Captain Jack's army.
Oh no.
Little baby girl, dude. Little baby girl. Give it up for Captain Jack. All right, that's enough of that. Dude, how's mama? How's the baby? Congrats, my man, on baby number 2.
Yeah. The labor was surprisingly a lot better than the hospital experience. So we got that going for us. My wife definitely has to rest up a little bit more. And so we actually have been basically like farming our toddler son out to like his grandparents or other different families to like watch him throughout days so that my wife could just get sleep and rest versus trying to corral him while I'm trying to work up here in my office area as well too. So it's been an adjustment. I feel like the amount of sleep deprivation is definitely up there versus my son and what he put me through. He didn't really put us through a lot, but I feel like the second kid's always the aperture point in going up. So it's been nice. She's really chill. I mean, she eats and sleeps and poops and that's about it.
That's what babies do, man. Drop the name on us. Let the people know.
Yeah. So her name's Sophia. So, and then, we named her. That name was kind of sticking, I mean, for several months. And so we just put it on our documents and stuff like that. And
love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congrats, man. It is good to have you back. Glad that you are back with us in the studio again. Glad mama's doing well, baby's doing well. And Theo's just going to have to deal with not being the king of the castle anymore. Pretty soon, we're going to have, it's going to be the Theo and Sophia show on the potluck.
Oh, man.
That's what's going to end up happening we're just going to set up 2 mics and let them talk. In other news that people probably don't care about, if you're watching this as well as listening to this, you're going to see some differences with your hosts. You're going to see the chins, the cheeks a little bit more chiseled. Jack and myself have been on record pace for weight loss in our lives. We're getting so, you know what? We've gone over to the dark side. We listened to all of the Christian nationalist guys saying that, if you're overweight, you're not a Christian. And we're like, you know what? Doggone it. They're right. They're right. Man, what have we been doing this entire time? No, but we have been doing this together. As of this month, June, I am on track to have lost 50 pounds.
Nice.
By the end of this month. Jack,
nice.
drop on the people what you're down, because you, my friend, are looking at you're back in like military weight right now, dude. You're looking amazing.
I don't know about that. I still need to lose about 20 pounds to 20 or more to be where I was like when I was in the Army. But yeah, I'm right around. So I started doing stuff around April, and I started at 260, and I'm down to like, I think right now, gosh, like 213. So
There you go.
Yeah, hopefully
Crushing
on track to be below 200 by the end of June. So we'll see what happens, but it's looking pretty promising right now. So
that's right.
I feel like, you know what? There was a flyer for all the Christian nationalist dudes called a conference called Muscular Christianity. And I feel like we could do a better job of explaining that versus all of those guys on that
Muscular
poster.
Christianity, dude. I thought that
like
was
none
an
of them
AI.
lift.
I'll be 100%
None
honest
of them
with you. I
lift.
thought that was an AI ad because I was like, "There's no way
None of those guys lift.
There's no way this is a thing."
I probably lift more weight than most of those
we're gonna
guys
make
do.
conferences out of anything now, and I looked into it, and it's 100% real. Like what? Like I don't know what's
can't
next,
believe it.
dude. Like
It's ridiculous.
Like diesel truck Christianity, like driving stick Christianity.
So dumb.
Oh my goodness, Jack. Let's get to some business, my friend. It is good to be back in the saddle again, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get to a fun topic today, but before we do, it's time for everyone's favorite segment. Don't forget to eat your Instagrams.
And now's the time you've all been waiting for. The Reformatory Podcast presents Don't Forget to Eat Your Instantgrams with your hosts, Josh Loftus and Jack Barry. And remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough.
This is Don't Forget to Eat Your Instagrams. And remember, kids, it's not heresy if you believe it hard enough. That's how it works. I'm still waiting for a trap beat version of that intro. I'm still waiting. I have not received it yet. But listeners,
so ridiculous.
If you know someone, I'm waiting for a trap beat version. I want it to happen. Jack, my friend, we have got some funny ones for you today. All right.
Oh gosh.
Speaking of muscular Christianity.
Oh gosh.
Muscular. All right. Some of these conferences, man, are getting a little. They're getting. Let's just say they're getting a little obvious. All right.
It's that time, Charlotte men. It's our strong men's breakfast, June 13th at 8 a.m. We got something really special. We are raffling off a MK12 designed by SEAL team member Marcus Luttrell and signed by him, the author of Lone Survivor. You can go on freedomhouse.cc/strong, get registered, buy some raffle tickets. I'll see you there. It's going to be a time of worship, ministry, strong preaching. Make sure you're there and you can win this gun.
Okay, so I gotta say,
My gosh.
all right, a couple things.
my gosh.
First off, this guy's on crack cocaine. He might have blinked 3 times. Okay.
This guy's on roids. Yeah.
Second, you're gonna raffle off. I mean, albeit a nice rifle. I wouldn't mind that rifle. That is a butt naked rifle. There's no sights. Like there's nothing on it, dude. I do appreciate the trigger discipline. He is making sure he's not going to get trolled on the internet for anything going on that on.
Just the still that. Right now, he is absolutely out of his mind right there.
He's geeked out, dude. It's going to be a strong night of worship.
Oh my gosh,
preaching and blowing stuff up.
Gosh,
Jack, what would it take for us to go to this conference? Because I'm not going to lie, I want that rifle. What would it take, or this breakfast? Excuse me. It's not even a conference; it's a breakfast. This is this is not your gentlemen. This is not your everyday 6 a.m. men's Saturday morning breakfast. Okay, all right. You and your little churches. You're doing pancakes. All right. You're doing your bacon. You're doing your Costco sausage. These guys are raffling off military rifles. What are you and your church even doing? Right. Okay. Jack,
I'm wondering what's going on with their men's ministry. Did you guys lose half the men? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know.
Like, is this a surge to get
we have
more
a lot
guys
of
in the church?
Weak men. Yeah. I want to know if is Marcus Luttrell going to be there? Will the lone survivor be there? Like,
no,
that's what I want to know.
Doubtful.
But it's signed by him, so that's cool. Jack, We're gonna go to the exact. We're gonna go to the exact opposite side of this spectrum here. Okay.
We are in a series right now called Culture, where we're talking about our specific cultural values as a church, why we believe what we believe, why we do what we do. And this morning, I'm going to be talking to you guys about our cultural value on prayer. And if you didn't know, everything we do around here is bathed in prayer. We have pre-gathering prayer Sunday mornings at 7:45 a.m. If you ever come to first service.
Okay. This is what happens when
the
toddler gets his dad's coat. And he stands behind the pole, like his toddler pulled the coat off of the rack, and he put it on.
It's not bathed in prayer.
What's that?
Your wardrobe decisions, sir. Like, what the heck are you doing?
What is happening here? Is this like the only thing that I can think of is that
this guy looks like the guy who's coming out of the courthouse, who he's getting on trial for murder, and has the flak jacket on, so nobody shoots him. Like that is absolutely the vibe that you're going for right now.
It's a padded cell jacket, is what it is. He just got out of Arkham Asylum. No, so for our audio only listeners, what we have here is a man with an Errol Flynn mustache, a pompadour hairstyle. He's got what can only be described as like Spike Lee glasses, I guess. I don't know what that style is. But then the thing about this video is that he's wearing a puffy vest.
Insanely oversized puffy vest.
This man is at best a schmedium. He's at best a schmedium. That is a 4 to 5 XL vest that he is wearing. And I don't know, is this an illustration, or is this just a new wardrobe? Like, is this the style now in churches? I need someone who is in the know more than me to let me know, because this is wild. This is wild.
He's definitely going for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibe. He looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, dude. Like,
he's the fifth brother.
He has the shape of one right now.
He didn't. This is the brother. He didn't like martial arts. He stayed home. Like, he was into interior designing and things like that. That was this brother. Anyway, we're going to get out of that. That was the Instagrams, ladies and gentlemen. Fun times. Jack, my friend, you sent me a text while you were on baby furlough. You were obviously like just either not taking care of the kid at that moment or bored out of your mind, because I got like barrage texts from Jack, like, this is wild, this is wild, this is wild. You sent me something that was very, very interesting that I think it is worth talking about. It's a headline from I don't know what news site.
I think it's from Christianity. I think it's from actually Christianity Today.
Is it Christianity Today? They put out a survey entitled "This Gen Z." This is the title of the survey. Gen Z prefers a generic "quote unquote" Christian label over that of "quote unquote" Protestant. And then the subtitle is "Younger Americans, even evangelicals, now favor the broader term, but self-identified Protestants have more stable, engaged lives of faith." So that's an interesting distinction, if true, that we're seeing this distinction being made with the younger generations, moving away from what I think Jack and I would consider historically rooted confessional Christianity to a more broad term Christian, right? Now, again, like, before we get into some of this, I have obviously no qualms with the term Christian. I call myself a Christian. Like, that is what I am. At the core of who we are. We are Christians, right? We are ambassadors of Christ. So this is not at all a saying, well, we prefer the term Protestant over Christian. I just think it's an interesting discussion. Not so much that they are embracing the term Christian, but that they are rejecting the term Protestant. I think that says something about the state of just the general state of what would be considered by most, again, more than likely not by a biblical standard, but by a worldly or a cultural one, what would be considered Christianity today. right? So Jack, why did you send this over, and what are some of your initial thoughts? Because I definitely have some. I've got an Instagram reel that I want to play as to one of the reasons why I think we are seeing this shift in younger generations, and I would like to provide some hope at the end with some things that I have seen as well from younger generations that I actually find very encouraging. But let's address this title first, because it pertains to the local church a lot.
Yeah, very much so. I think why I sent it to you, Josh, and primarily why I wanted to chat about this in more of like a dialogue situation, primarily is because I think we see younger generations, and even in the article, it surveyed about over 2,300 Gen Z respondents, so pretty good sample size. And most of those, so the affiliations were coming in at, with 27%, they just labeled themselves Christian generic. Then below that was Catholic. Okay.
Yeah.
And then below that was nothing in particular at 16%. And then you had Protestant at 10%, and then agnostic at 10%. So Protestantism,
we're duking
it
out. We're duking it out with the agnostics.
Yeah. So something that I'm finding more and more, and I don't know if it's just the case studies I'm seeing or just the, how can I say this, the vignettes online of people running into Gen Z Christians who are becoming more and more attuned with their faith. I'm seeing more of just like a, and I don't think it's a warning, but I can't really attune it to data like, the folks did on this particular article, but I see more and more, I guess you could say, like different conversations about Gen Z Christians just not taking discipleship seriously, not taking certain doctrines seriously, or not looking up the understanding of certain doctrines of the church, of our faith, not understanding church history, just a lot of different things that are a little bit concerning on that level. I think that's why Josh and I have made several different episodes recently as to, hey, we should be discipling and looking at the next generation and trying to impart whatever wisdom that we have to them, and befriending them and talking to them more about their faith and what it means to be, if you want to say Reformed Baptist, evangelical, we would probably say more historic Protestant as well too, because all of those things kind of wrap themselves up in kind of historic Protestantism. So but I think it's important that when people are starting to label themselves Catholic over Protestantism, I mean, that's not anything new, to be quite honest. The smells and bells are getting to the younger generation as they're getting to a lot of other people within other different generations as well too. That's nothing really anything new. But I think the difference is that people not really understanding what the titles mean and why we are who we say we are when it comes to labels, when it comes to labeling ourselves as well too. So I think that's why I sent that to you, and why it's important that we're talking about, especially if we're in, I mean, you and I are both in two Protestant churches.
Right.
And so we very much take, both of our churches very much take historic Protestantism very seriously, I would say.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important for us to talk about, us being in Protestant churches, to talk about, hey, what do we see kind of going on with this generation? Why would they probably want to shuck the title of Protestant off and just go for generic Christian, which I have some thoughts of my own as well too. But yeah, I wanted to kick it over to you.
Yeah, no, man. I think so many of these conversations, like you already said, come down to the topic of discipleship and the great importance and need that there is within the local church to be equipping the saints, not just the saints that are your age or older, but the saints that are coming after you and the generations after you, right? Taking the word of God. And, I'll paraphrase the quote from Spurgeon, right? Putting it, in the trees and on the ground where the giraffes and the asses can eat it, right? That is what we need to be doing. Is we take these high and lofty truths and apply them correctly, right? And that means that you are diligent in informing the young folks in your church, right? Because Gen Z, unlike any generation before them, I think it started a little bit with us as millennials, but Gen Z has gotten it square in the jaw, in that you have more than ever individuals that are online trying to disciple, trying to inform, trying to influence the minds of young people. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Right. And it's very accessible. It's very easy to do. So you have a lot of really bad ideas and a lot of very unbiblical ideations and understandings and definitions going around and circulating around these podcasts and the social media accounts and the Facebook and Instagram reels and TikTok and all of that stuff. And if there is not a culture of discipleship within that young person's church, if they do not have faithful men and women surrounding them, bringing them up in the Word of God, they're going to be swayed to and fro. That's just what's going to happen, right? Because we're all discipled by something. It's either going to be the Word of God or it's going to be something else. Whatever the loudest voice is in our lives, that's often what we're discipled by most. And for a lot of Gen Z, that's social media and the things that they see online, right? So it makes sense with the degradation of truth and definitions that's going on in Christianity today. What does it mean to be a Christian? It makes sense to me that the term Protestant would be one of the first things that we shuck, right? Because in the word itself, Protestant, it was a protest, came out of the Reformation, right? It was us making necessary and biblical distinctions between the Roman Catholic Church of the day. And those distinctions still exist. In fact, those distinctions have just grown since the time of the Reformation, right? And we've talked about that before. So, but you have so many people. I would go so far as to say, and again, I don't have data to back this up, but I would not be surprised if you have a majority of individuals that claim to be, that would call themselves Christian in America, that would see zero distinction between them and the Roman Catholics. They just think the Roman Catholics are just a little bit more snooty, right? A little bit more high church, but we're all Christian, right? You have Mormons now that have changed. They've changed the playbook. They no longer distinguish themselves as more. Their playbook now is to call themselves Christians.
Yeah,
and we're seeing biblical Christianity get lumped in with Mormonism, get lumped in with Roman Catholicism, get lumped in with Seventh-day Adventism, get lumped in with Jehovah's Witness. And now, like, it's just a smorgasbord of, pick your vibe of Christianity. They're really all the same. Just what flavor of popsicle do you want, right? And that's what's happening on social media, right? So we chuck Protestantism because, that sounds a little forceful. We don't want to be known as those that protest. We want to be those that have unity because it's unity. It's unity above everything else. That's what we want, right? We don't want to judge. We want unity, but we don't want to actually do the work or have the foundation that true unity requires in order to have it, right? So that, I think, is a large part of what's going on. Is it's a failure for folks in my generation and older to be faithful in discipleship within the local church, right? Again, not across the board, right? There's many faithful churches that are doing it. But trends are trends for a reason. And whether it was our generation or the generation above us, a combination of both, refusing to hold the line on things that we should be holding the line on, refusing to open our Bibles as much as we should, refusing to not coddle feelings over truth, right? Like we talked about a couple episodes ago, being keepers instead of peacemakers. That's how you get trends like this, where you have young folks with a lot of love in their heart and a desire to love people and a desire to be part of something quote unquote bigger than themselves, but they have no foundation of truth. So everything is true until the common consensus says that it's not.
Yeah, I think another danger too in just having a generic title, like kind of what you brought up, is the Trojan horse that generic title brings with it, that heretics and false witnesses and false prophets and false teachers are going to basically hide themselves in Trojan horse. And then when it goes through and you welcome that Trojan horse into your life and have it camped out, then it's going to wreak havoc of what's actually.
And you got a Netflix documentary being made about it.
Like Mormons are now calling themselves Christians. Like everybody who we would say, no, those actually aren't historic Bible believing Christians. Those are actually people who the Bible would say are false teachers and false prophets. So yeah, I think having a generic title doesn't necessarily help you, but I think the other thing as well too, which I'm surprised at in this study, I'm surprised that there weren't more maybe like alternative names for Christians, because that's been a huge one within the turn of the 21st century, is that people stopped calling themselves Christians and started calling themselves Christ followers.
Right. I'm actually surprised Christian was as high as it was, honestly.
I'm surprised we didn't get any like apprentices with Jesus.
Followers of the way.
There.
Right.
I'm surprised we didn't get an Acts throwback. It's like, I think it said, I mean, nothing in particular was at 16%. And I mean, something else was like 3% of the label of that survey. So I'm wondering if even like some of the younger generation is looking at the term Christian and thinking that somehow it is attaching itself to something else.
Well,
or if Protestantism isn't just that, or if it's just really like it's just a weakness in understanding what Protestantism versus, Roman Catholicism versus all the other denominations and, arenas of Christianity. So
I completely agree with that. I think you have, like I said, when you don't have when Scripture is not your foundation, when it is not your source of truth, you will be. Right. So what we have now is anything and anything that anyone wants to label Christian, because you don't have a source of truth that you can combat that with. You just have to throw your hands up and be like, I guess, like that's your brand. That's your vibe of Christianity. Right. To illustrate that point, Jack, this is another reel Jack sent me. This is and look, here's the thing. Like I have grace for those that are new in the faith. I have grace for those that are immature, that have come to Christ. They're spiritually immature. So of course they're gonna do some weird things, think some weird things, say some weird things. Okay. I get a little squirrely when those same individuals, a week after claiming to be saved, are now headlining conferences and teaching individuals about Christianity. Okay.
Yeah.
That being said, Jack sent me this reel, and this illustrates the point that we have, that we are trying to make here, that your kids, Gen Z, this is what they're being discipled by. If Gen Z does not have a solid local church that they are a part of, where they are being invested in by biblically sound, qualified pastors, this is the alternative. This individual is named Nala Ray. she's a former adult film star that was converted to Christianity. I pray that's true. I don't know this individual. I do pray that is true, but she is an individual that falls under that category that I have that I was speaking about. That she was saved out of the adult film industry, became a Christian, baptized, all that stuff, and then immediately, and I mean immediately, was headlining conferences. She was given the Kanye West treatment, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this person that has all these followers now claims Christ. We need to capitalize on this. So this is her, I'm assuming, on her podcast, interviewing these two individuals, these knuckleheads, these whippersnappers named Phoenix. First off, you name your son Phoenix.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be a problem. Okay. Phoenix and Cody of Eden. That is their title, of Eden Ministries. Okay.
Oh,
Eden Ministries. And this is a sample of what a lot of Gen Z is being discipled with right here.
Your giftings too.
Yeah.
It ties directly into what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
I let him explain mine because I don't like talking about myself. It's weird.
So I have the ability to see in the spirit realm, just like a lot of people could in the Bible. They are called seers. And so that's a title a lot of people call me and stuff. Just like Samuel in the Bible, he was able to see things all the time and stuff. Amos is another one. Amos,
He just said Amos.
Why?
Said Amos. Let's continue.
Say that name wrong.
almost. I was like, who's that?
Amos, whatever.
Easy. Whatever. I can see in the spirit realm. I can see angels. I see Jesus, but whatever, bro. Whatever, dude. Whatever.
Eagle could also see in the spirit realm Elijah, Daniel, Peter, John.
He's listing all the best guys. Are you noticing this? How would you compare, Jack? Let me ask you a question. Who would you compare yourself to? If you could compare yourself to anybody in the Bible, and you just start listing off the Avengers of Bible characters, David,
the
Ezekiel, Amos,
the 1995 Major League Baseball All-Star
85 Chicago Bears. That's what I would, if I could encapsulate myself as a football team. It would be either the 85 Bears or the New England Patriots just as a franchise. Okay. Anyway, let's continue here.
All these people, it's always the same people having encounters with angels and stuff because they could see it,
Yeah.
And so it's something I just have always been able to do since I was little. Like, I don't even know what it's like to not. So how I see Jesus in the spirit realm during some sessions or sometimes during at church or something, like he'll make an appearance. Like I see his light in every single believer in Christ. And especially when I'm doing deliverance sessions and he shows me the courts of heaven where we're going and he's standing there for the person I'm praying for in the courtrooms of heaven. He always just looks like a man made out of pure golden light where he's so bright I can't even make out any facial features or anything like that. It looks like a man made of pure this liquid golden light.
And the reason that he sees it like that as well is like there's other seers, right? And
yes, please tell us why. Tell us why
there's other seers. We know the other seers.
There's other seers. There's John
named
and
Joseph,
Ezekiel, and David. Yeah.
There's a man named Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith. Yes.
I've all seen Jesus is a very common thing. They see him a little bit differently. Some people could see him as like a man because that's just the way their brain works. Yeah. That's the way he presents himself to them. The way that he sees things, we've come to learn, is the embodiment of whatever that thing is.
So he coded.
What? I saw Jesus as a Nicaraguan cigar because that is what he is to me. That is what I love. He knows that I love it. So he manifested himself. Dude, here's obviously we're making fun of this for a reason, right? Because there are some things that deserve to be mocked and this deserves to be mocked. These two guys are wolves
out of their element.
They're
wolves. Out of their element. They
are complete wolves. They're complete charlatans. Either that or they are seeing real things and it's Satan. Those are the two options. They're either lying or they're seeing Satan. Because this is not how Christianity works. But all of that to say, this is what people are being discipled by every single day. These are what the major quote unquote Christian influencers are doing. And these are the types of people that they are having on their huge podcasts, because this is what sells tickets, right? It's not the solid historical doctrine, theological truth that is scripture, because that's not flashy. It's signs and wonders, right? So you have individuals like this that are peddling their wares, and you have, that what's her face talking about pastors getting, seduced by mer people, because that's what sells tickets. And this is what social media is feeding the younger generations. And if they don't have a solid local church and solid men and women around them that are discipling, this is why we see the results in the surveys that come out that we do, because this is what they're being discipled by, right? There's an urgency here, Jack, that we in the local churches should not be lazy and allow social media to continue to disciple our kids and the young folks in our church.
Yeah.
Because social media is not going to go away, and it's not going to take a break, and it's not going to be lazy. Social media is going to do it one way or the other. It does require us to be more than that, right? Which is where, again, to hopefully not just leave on a downer note, Jack, I can say that I am encouraged, because I am seeing, not just in my own church, but also in conversations, people that message us online, people that we see in other churches. There is a resurgence, small though it may be, but it's happening, of true confessionalism. Biblical, historical confessionalism that takes the word of God serious, that takes the historical truths of Protestant Christianity that has been passed down from, through history, that has an ardent adherence to the word of God. I am seeing a resurgence of that in the young folks, and it is exciting. I am seeing these strong men and women come to an understanding of the doctrines of grace, come to an understanding of covenantal theology, Christ's imputed righteousness, his active obedience for us, and they're eating it up. And I'm thinking of conversations I've had with young folks in my own church, where they're having conversations with friends that they've been friends with for years, and they're coming and to us and saying, "Hey, I was having this conversation. My friend was saying this, and this is how I responded." And I'm like, "That you would not have responded that way 2 years ago. You would have just thrown your hands up and probably been just like, yeah, that's what you believe." Right. And so that's not quite what I believe, but it's okay that, no, you met that error with truth and you did it graciously. Dude, it's exciting, Jack, but it requires that we don't take the foot off the gas pedal. Right. Like we have to be proactive in the lives of young folks, to equip them so that when they see those reels and they listen to those podcasts, and they have friends that send them those reels, "Have you seen this Nala Ray thing? So powerful." They're able to deduce truth from error and to do it well, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think too, like, something that hopefully will go forth is the fact that, right now, even we have in my local church, we have a ministry that's headed up by a guy who actually preached yesterday, kind of pulpit filled, because our pastors are out at a conference. But I know him, and he disciples young men and women who are trying to go into sports ministry. And they're in college right now. And so he's hosting them. He runs the internship program for sports ministry here in Puget, or not, the South Puget Sound and Pierce County area in Washington. So, and yeah, it's encouraging to see them starting to kind of understand and take hold of stuff a little bit more. But yeah, you are always, I mean, I think the optics is always the discouraging thing, right? I mean, every year we would get that Ligonier survey of what evangelicals believe, right? And it was just the worst.
Oh, dude,
news on the
it's worse
planet.
every year. It's like, oh, here we go again.
Is Jesus a created being? Like 76% said yes. It's like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing here, people? Like, I think it's just the same thing. Like we don't want those same things to carry on from generation to generation. Like we want those things nipped in the bud, right? Yeah. And we want those things to be understood rather than just more of like a, oh, well, you know, you do you kind of attitude, or I'm kind of indifferent to that, so I'm not even going to kind of wade into those waters. So yeah, I think what Josh and I really would love to see is just local churches. If you have folks who are part of Gen Z, like start to ask them questions, start to ask them and see where they're at as far as, you know, what do they believe as far as doctrine goes? I know we just had, so in our church, our Sunday school classes for certain kids only go up to about the 5th grade. I think the 4th or the 5th grade. And after that grade, they come and join us in service.
Sure.
And so there's a range of certain age groups that have learned stuff and then are now coming into like really sitting under expository preaching and understanding stuff.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a gap there. There's going to be an understanding gap there. There's going to be an understanding gap for, I think, people who are coming to the faith and just not sure how to go about certain doctrines of the faith that have been historically known and also historically smeared by the papists, to say it as easily as I can. So yeah, I mean, there's things that we need to be on guard for. And if we aren't looking out for that next generation to basically tell them stuff, they're just going to basically, if you don't, like that old adage, like if you don't, you know, if you don't do something about this, like you'll fall for everything or something along those lines. If you don't educate yourself on something like that, you'll fall for everything. And so I think what Josh and I really would just encourage you in your local church to do, to just start befriending younger people and, you know, make it a way for you to disciple them in the faith. I think that's what we need the most. Yeah. And I think a lot of churches are understanding that as well too. So yeah, I think that's the biggest reason why I sent you that. But the other thing too is just titles matter. And if we just generically are going to throw out the name Christian with no real backing to what that means, there's danger, because you can have, like I said, all these other false testimonies and false prophets and false religions start to come in and hitch their wagon towards the title of Christian, say, oh, well, we're Christian too, but they're really not. No. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Yeah. There's a lot of work that needs to be done out there, as always is the same with every generation. Right. But there's a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope for Gen Z. I am excited to see the resurgence of confessionalism within the local church. Like I'm seeing it happen, and it's exciting. But even in that resurgence, there's a great need for discipleship, because just as there are a lot of individuals who claim to be Christian, yet do not hold to the principles of Christianity, I would say there are many, many that would call themselves confessional that do not hold to confessional standards.
Yeah.
And a lot of them have podcasts and books and conferences and big Twitter followings. But that's another episode for another time. Jack, my friend, it's been a minute, a little rusty, but why don't you get us out of here, man?
Yeah, if you appreciate Josh and I's, I guess, good old taking a nice little college swing at making the local church central to the believers, called the good old college try at making
the seminary swing,
the local church central to the believer's life. If you appreciate what Josh and I do to try and make that integrated, that your local church would be a part of your everyday life every week, week in, week out, that you would gather with your local church on the Lord's Day, that you would look to them for discipleship and also fellowship and encouragement and growth in your faith. If you want to continue following us in our endeavors here on the podcast, you can follow us on the sociables, the Meta. It sounds so weird because it's not. They don't have Metaverse. It's just Meta, or the Facebook now.
It's just Meta.
You can follow us there. Yeah. You can follow us on the Instagram, goes well with chocolate and marshmallow, maybe sprinkle a little heresy on top of that as well too. Or you can follow us on the Sociable, formerly known as Twitter X, as well too. You can follow us at those Sociables at the tag at Reformatory Pod. Drop us a direct message, episode ideas, questions, comments, concerns, anything along those lines. Josh, you can tell the lovely people how they might support us further here in our endeavors.
That's right. If you want to support the Reformatory in more ways than just listening to this episode, there's a couple ways you can do that. You can head on over to YouTube and watch this episode as well as listen to it. It does make the Instagrams a lot more fun. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications, as the kids say. We would definitely appreciate it. You can like this podcast, rate this podcast on Apple and Spotify. I ask that you do that as well. It does help get the podcast out to more people, so more people might be encouraged in their commitment to the local church, and that's always a good thing. Last but not least, we do have a Patreon for $5 a month. It's the cheapest around, ladies and gentlemen. Biggest bang for your buck. You could become a Patreon supporter, get this episode early, get multiple bonus episodes every single week, and it's a lot of fun over there. If you choose to do that for $5 a month, our pledge to you is that your name shall be hallowed.
Hallowed
Through the halls of the podcast. That is our pledge to you. We thank you all for listening, and we will catch you on the next day of the Reformatory.